If you ask me, Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness is one of the best Marvel films out there. Let's jump into it. Hi, my name's Stu and welcome to another review video on Flying Wiener. I've seen Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness. I was hoping to film this review right after, but unfortunately I didn't have any time because I always film these pretty much a week before they come out, and during the week I edit. So, you know, even though I see film like I did with Doctor Strange, as soon as it came out I saw it on the Sunday. But because Sunday is usually also my recording day, that messed this up, so it's a week late. I'm sorry about that. I hope you still enjoy it though, because in my opinion, as I said in the intro, Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness is definitely one of the better Marvel films. It's not the best one for me. If you are interested, you just need to look up there to see my most recent displayed poster. Infinity War to me still remains the best film, while of course there's an argument that you need to have seen all the films leading up to there. I don't see that as a problem, to be perfectly honest. I feel it just enhances it even more, although I do feel it's a good standalone film. If you're interested in why not Endgame, because I feel that Endgame drags in places. And I do kind of like the moments in Infinity War more, with the favourite one probably being Thor appearing on Earth and the music coming in. It's one of the best moments in the whole MCU, if you ask me. Anyway, let's get back to Doctor Strange. Now, it is interesting, some of the things in the film I didn't like, but there was a lot that actually surprised me, and there's just a lot going on in this film, considering that it's just got a runtime of just over 2 hours. It's packed with a lot of things. It's not overcomplicated, it's not overstuffed. We do get to see a lot, but it's just a bit different than I imagined it to be. That's good and bad in a way. Now, in case you aren't familiar with the story, I'll explain the plot briefly without spoiling, of course. The film starts off pretty much with action straight away. We see this girl who we later find out to be America Chavez. That's her name. I didn't know her before. If you're a comic fan, you will of course know the name, I suppose, if you follow the Marvel comics. I didn't know her before. She runs into Doctor Strange after they have this sort of battle with a monster, with a tentacled monster. And Doctor Strange finds out that she is able to travel through the multiverse. So she travels from one universe to the next. And the problem being that she is actually being chased, so there are monsters hunting her, just like the tentacled one we have at the very start of the film. And so they're trying to get to the bottom of this. And that is basically what is going on. Doctor Strange, because this he senses that this has somehow got to do with witchcraft and wizardry, sorcery, he consults Scarlet Witch, so Wanda Maximoff, who we've seen, well, last we saw her in WandaVision, which I've covered on the channel. I'll leave a link to that at the end of this video. She's back, and so the two of them, you know, they try to help America Chavez and somehow get to the bottom of the mystery. That's pretty much all I'll tell you about the plot. So we're hopping from one dimension to the next, and we get to explore a lot of alternate Earths and universes. It's quite interesting in that way. That is actually one of the things that I was a bit disappointed about, because in my head I thought that we would not only be jumping from one universe to the next, but we would be exploring them, because to me it's just a fascinating concept. You know, if in this exact time we move to a parallel world to see what have they done up to now, how have they developed, what is it like over there. You know, traveling to the future is one thing, but it's like, you know, the comparison between alternate dimensions is what I find really interesting. So while we do get to see tidbits here and there, it's not really a focus of the story, and this is rather just a personal thing for me. I would have just loved to see more of that, but it's okay, I can't fault the film for it, because we use that time rather well to actually explore the characters. So not just America Chavez's character, who is just completely new in the MCU, of course, but also Doctor Strange, because he's I mean, throughout the MCU, he's been a rather pragmatic, goal-oriented character, you know, and he doesn't have any issue with sacrificing things or even people to achieve those goals if he feels it's for the greater good. So yeah, we see some development here for him in this film. So he's trying to sort of allow others in, I'll call it, and starts to rely more on other people. We saw a bit of that already in Spider-Man No Way Home, and this concept continues here. So it'll be interesting to see Doctor Strange in the future. He'll definitely be more of a team player, I feel, after this film. And I guess we have America Chavez to thank for that. And I really enjoy that because I like Benedict Cumberbatch in the role. I think he really owns it now, so it's hard to imagine anyone else in the role. So he's just incredible as Doctor Strange. I really like his character and him as acting, everything. And then you should also mention Elizabeth Olsen as the Scarlet Witch in this film. This is probably, I mean, she already had a lot of great acting work in WandaVision, which of course was a TV show, so there's more runtime, but still, she gets some amazing scenes in this, and she proves that she is definitely a really good actor. She, in this film in particular, has a lot of ups and downs. I mean, quite in a way like in WandaVision. I won't tell you too much about it, but yes, I felt that those two are really standouts here. But you have so many other great characters. I mean, I love Benedict Wong. I think he's one of the funniest characters in the MCU. I just love his one-liners are definitely among the best. So every time he comments, you know, it's hard for me not to smile because I think he's just great. He's amazing. Then you do have America Chavez, who comes in, like I say, when she's a teenager. So in a way, it does feel a bit like Spider-Man No Way Home. So Doctor Strange, weirdly, is kind of like a babysitter in a way, because we've again got a film where he's taking care of a very young person. And it's quite funny. I don't know, it's rather strange. I don't know why he keeps getting into these situations, but there we go. She's a very likeable character, and ever since I saw her name on the poster, and obviously knew I was going to do a review, I've been racking my brain wondering how to pronounce the name. I'll put it here just so that you can see it. And I was thinking to myself, how am I going to do that? What is it? And then I did the obvious thing, of course. I looked up on the internet, and now I feel so stupid because it's just pronounced Sochi. That's it. That's, you know, I was like, is it Kettle? You know, whatever. I went through all sorts of iterations of it, and then I saw, no, it's just Sochi. So it's Sochi Gomez. That's the actress's name. Very simple. I love the name. I think it's great. I mean, you know, you don't have an X in a name that often, especially at the start. So I really like that. I think it's a great name. But she does a great job. She's very likable. So it'll be exciting to see what else comes of her. I mean, she didn't have such a great journey in this film, but it's fine. She's just a side character. I still like though what they showed us, and yeah, look forward to seeing more of her. Now, one thing you need to talk about is the direction. You've got Sam Raimi. He is obviously known for his Spider-Man trilogy with Tobey Maguire. He directed this, and you can tell immediately there's so many things. This is probably the most director-driven film we have had in the MCU. I love it. I think they really need to get away more from the formula, so that's why this also feels very different, because Sam Raimi does a lot of things that he's known for. There's a lot of really good dark humour in this, which I love. I'm a sucker for it. Raimi, of course, with the Evil Dead, you know, this is his forte, and he brings a lot of that energy here. You know, in certain scenes it feels like it could almost be an Evil Dead film. It's so good. I really love it. But you've got other things, like I've seen it pop up on the internet as well. You've got this sort of montage where we see a sort of ritual being performed, a magical one, and you have the overlaid faces coming in and out of the frame and stuff. It feels a lot like an early 2000s film. It's quite funny in that way, so it's kind of cheesy a bit, but it really works well, and he does so many other things. So he really delves into this rather mystical side of the story. I mean, we've got the sorcerer here, Doctor Strange, and it's great because he really thought about how can we film it and make this film in a way that really just enhances that notion, you know, that makes us feel like everything is magical. Yeah, you've got camera shots and effects and all sorts of stuff going on just to, you know, really get that message across, and I really like it. It's really good. So Sam Raimi, he brings a lot to this film, and I think he was a great choice for it, because I think there's just the elements of the story. I'm sure he inserted something, like I say, particularly the dark humour, especially in the third act. There's something that happens that just feels so much like it's from the Evil Dead. It's so good. Enjoy it a lot. You've got a musical battle, I'll call it, which is quite interesting as well. So yeah, he put a lot of thought in how he can show what Doctor Strange can do and how weird it can be and magical, etc. So I really like that. With him comes, of course, Bruce Campbell. So we've got a Bruce Campbell cameo in this as well. He's got a really, really small role, but I enjoy him a lot. I think he's great. And speaking of the humour, etc., as per usual, Marvel nowadays, they have two credit scenes. One is sort of mid-credits, so after the fancy ones, you know, just before the crawl comes, you get the important ones story-wise, and at the very, very end, they put in just a small humorous one. And the last one, the humorous one in this film, it's yeah, I think it is my new favourite one. Because it kind of, I love it when they reference, you know, just all the fans and are actually speaking directly to them, you know, because they're all sitting in the cinema like I am, and just waiting to see the end. And this one too, until now, my favourite one was in Spider-Man Homecoming, where Captain America comes in again at the end and talks about, I can't even remember what it was, patience, I think, something like that. I loved that, I thought it was great, and I think this film's one is my new favourite, so it's in the same vein, you know, where they're kind of light-heartedly making fun of the people sitting in the cinema, but I loved it. But there's so many other things that really work so well in this film, because as I mentioned, we are hopping from one multiverse to the next, and the film, it feels like it's taken a lot of inspiration from Terminator, and some scenes even seem to be quite direct homage to it, but I really like that. So we've got a lot of very tense moments in this. People have said that they find it's the scariest the scariest Marvel film to date. People have been discussing whether it should have had an R rating. I don't think so. I just think it's really pushing, you know, us to the boundaries of what you can do in PG-13, at least in a Marvel film, let's put it that way. Not that it's not been done before, but it's definitely some of the most intense things we have seen in a Marvel film. So if you are going with kids, just be aware there might be some scenes that you will have to explain to them. Or maybe it's one of these cases where it's actually worse because as an adult you just understand a lot more around the scene, you know, and actually get how horrifying it is compared to a child. But still, we've got some jump scares in here, and just some really good scares, and just some really creepy scenes, some really violent scenes, not in terms of blood and guts, but violence, you know, just when you see it happening, you're like, whoa, you know. I was quite surprised in some scenes, but I liked it a lot. So the horror vibes that we've got going here are really good, and like I said, the chase through the multiverse and some obviously literal chases that happen in the film are just really good and quite scary at the same time. So I really love those aspects of the film, and I do feel a lot of that is down to Sam Raimi. So yes, overall it's a really exciting film. It is, well, Spider-Man No Way Home I think is still my favourite from the current phase that we're in, but Doctor Strange is a very, very close second, and it's definitely one of the better films that we do have in the MCU. I would say easily top 10, maybe even top 5, not sure. I'd have to think that. I'm not a guy for lists, as you know, but I'd put it somewhere around there. Anyway, that will be all from me today. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please like, share and subscribe. It's the best way to support this channel. If you've got any comments about the film or my video, leave them down in the comment section below. You know, discuss this film, what you liked, disliked, what do you think about its place in the MCU, what do you feel about, I don't know, should it have had an R rating? Again, I don't think that's the thing. It wouldn't have been the right choice. But anyway, let me know about that in the comments. I'll thank you again for watching, and I'll see you in the next video on Flying Wiener. Take care. Bye.